grassroots level MMA support.
It's always gonna be our base, isn't it? The grassroots, like, for the team. So they get our priority. So because they're our homegrown shows, do you know that way? So, and then to try and help and build through the whole level from the start all the way up to where they want to go as a promotion. So for us, it's always going to be grassroots, like.
Yeah, and another thing, those guys, the young fellas now that are starting out in MMA, that are starting to train, that are going to gyms for the first time, these is the platforms you need to get out there, to gain experience. People have this. I spoke to, that was one of the Shaolin guys there that fought. I can't remember his name now. I spoke to him for a good while too, and we were talking about MMA, despite what the older generation and other people think, it's not a barbaric sport. It's an athletic event between two equally matched people. It's no different from a boxing match where you have similar events.
Well, actually, it is, because in boxing you have journeymen, which is not something you have in MMA.
Yeah, and there's no easy fights in MMA, and you see that.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. That is how boxing has evolved, like, and that's perfectly fine. But there is a lot of journeymen within the boxing, and that's not something that you see in the MMA world. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So
there's a lot of guys now transitioning from the striking, from the Taekwondo, from the K1, into the MMA
world. From the Muay Thai.
Yeah, where they were competing and kickboxing and MMA, and was finding it hard to find fights. They'll never struggle to find a fight in MMA.
No, that's for sure. Like, so, yeah, for sure, 1,000,000%. Like, so and I think the thing is yeah, there is a huge amount of competition within the MMA community. Like, so I think, yeah, when you do struggle to find fights on other combat sports, like you said, within the kickboxing, the Muay Thai, or K1, or any of those other ones, like, finding an MMA fight is a little bit easier. But the problem is that, you cannot just do striking to do an MMA fight. You have got to join a gym that also does, the groundwork, the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, the judo, all those other. So, like, for people who say it's barbaric, and that really, really, like, grinds on my gut, like, when people say that, because the amount of sports that you put into to become an MMA practitioner is more than you will for any other fight, and because you cannot just rely on one particular fighting style. There are so many fighting styles you need to become an MMA fighter, and I'm sorry that people think that it's barbaric. Like, if you are in that gym every day with those fighters, and this is what kills me when I hear people say it, because I'm in that gym every day with fighters, and I come originally from a stand-up background, and I've learned the ground game because of being in that gym and seeing the amount, like, it grinds my gut something awful when I hear people say that, because the amount of time, effort, nutritional value they put into it, massage therapy, the money that goes into being an MMA fighter is unreal. Yeah. And then to say that it's barbaric.
Like pros.
We actually have the highest safety record in the world when it comes to the amount of safety that we supply for a show in this country.
Safer than boxing.
Between the amount of doctors, paramedics, cuts teams, ambulances, treatment rooms, like, our local shows are at the level of the medical level of Brave, UFC, Bellator, Cage Warriors, all those massive shows. That's every local show that we put on has that exact same.
And not only are they at the level of those shows, it's actually the same teams as those shows.
90% of the time.
For amateur grassroots level as they do for the big pros.
So and it kills me then when they say that it's a barbaric sport. We have a really legitimate rule set for fighting, whether it be cadets, whether it be new amateurs, whether it be seasoned amateurs, whether it be pro fighters. There is a very structured rule set for everybody that fights, and it is across the board. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like he put on a show and it's this, and he put on a show and that. That is not how it works. Like, we do not chop and change. We work under certain rules and regulations, and that has to be met no matter where the show is or what the level of the show is. And it really grinds on my gut when they start that off, like, you know, and of course then it leads to me ranting about sanctioning and governing bodies, and because we
Which
have
you can see
really
on a
good
previous
governing
video.
bodies.